this tutorial I show how to make a highly customizable equip-unequip system. You can have primary and secondary items here such as the sword and pistol. The attach points for them can be changed using sockets. When unequipped, the items can have physics simulation so they wobble around for realism. You can equip and unequip with animations and it changes sockets to be held. It works for either hand, such as the pistol being left-handed while the sword was right. If you equip or unequip while moving, it layers on the upper body so the player continues any prior movement or action. If both items have the same target hand, then when equipping, if the other is already equipped, it will first unequip then equip the target item. This combines both montages with a single key press so you don't have to unequip then equip again manually. You can do any non-weapon items such as the storage. There are 3 animations for equip and unequip each, with 2 of each for both hands. Based on the selected enum value it will choose which animation. There is under, middle and overarm equipping for items attached to the back. Similarly, items attached to the hip can either be left or right-handed. You can use the provided blueprints to make any type of equipables you want. Here is a mace and rifle. It is however important to mention that it is up to you to ensure the equipable setup variable is properly set up before you finalize the game or package it. If you purchase the project files you will get some extra exclusives. First is holsters/attachables. This lets you attach the items to a different equipped actor such as gun holsters. Here is a pistol attached to a hip holster and a bow attached to a quiver. The physics simulation is on the holsters instead and the items will follow them. There are also sound effects here for each item. You can also have the option to start with items already equipped. Here is a samurai with dual swords which also attach to sheets on the back. Here is a Western cowboy character example. He has a Colt and Winchester attached. There are extra holding options included such as for pistols where the index finger is slightly extended ready to shoot. The Winchester is more like a shotgun so the hand was set to be halfway between open and closed. There are only primary and secondary but you can add on to it if you want for more and use something like a selection wheel to choose what to equip. Here is a final example character I made just for fun and showcase. It is from a certain anime which you probably know. First you need models for the items. I got these ones from Sketchfab by the shown users. You need to orient and pivot them correctly which I did in Blender. The transforms should all be default to which you can do using Ctrl+A. It should be pivoted based on its unequipped position instead of the equipped so for example the sword pivots around the handle instead of the bottom part. I will orient them to be standing up instead of lying down flat. I already imported them in engine with materials. Remove collision for all of them. Next you need animations. I will use Mixamo for mine. First is this unarmed equip underarm 1. I saved the file as equip_under_right. Then mirror the same animation and save it as left. For middle, get this standing equip bow 1 and again make sure to mirror it. For overarm, I will use the unarmed equip over shoulder 1. For unequipping, get standing disarm underarm. Then get standing disarm bow. Finally, get standing disarm over shoulder. For the fists being closed, get any pose that has the hands closed. I got this male locomotion pose. I will use this Mixamo converter tool to convert it from Mixamo to Unreal Rig. I will link this software in the description below. Import all the animations in engine. Create montages of all the animations. Open an equip montage. Find the point in it where the item should go to the hand and add a montage notify. Then click the slot drop down and change it to upper body which should be there by default. Do this for all equip animations. For unequip do it at the point where it should be returned back. I did the rest off camera. Now open your character mesh. Add a socket to the back called item back. You can add a preview mesh to it to visualize where it should go. I used spine 5 since it was the topmost one. You can see the mace is attached properly. The bow, however, is rotated. You can fix this externally but can do it easier and quicker in engine. Drag the mesh into the world and open modeling mode. Rotate it 90 degrees in the required axis, then go to X-form and click on Bake Transform and accept. Now the bow is rotated correctly. Now add sockets for the hip items. I attached them to the thighs. Rotate and move the sockets until it looks right for you. Finally, add sockets for when items are held to the hands. You can preview the hands closed pose if you want, since the majority of items will require a closed fist anyway. The hand is fully closed here, which is why the project files include options to control the close amount via blend weight. I didn't include it in the tutorial as it was getting too long and they are more cosmetic fixes. Next we will make the enumerations. First is one called item type. Add 4 values called placeholder 1, 2, primary and secondary. Then make one called socket with values of under, middle, over and holster/hip. The first 3 are for when equipped on the back and the last is for hip. You can add more if you want to attach to other sockets. Then make one called equip hand with values of left and right. Now make a structure called equippable. Copy the variables shown. Make a new actor called equippable item master. I will set up the physics simulation for wobbling. It is based off this video by Atomic Show, link will be in the description. Copy the shown changes. This held pivot is where the item should be pivoted when equipped. Go to the construction script and add the shown code. Now go to begin play. This is incorrect code, so I will skip it. Flip on equip flips the item when equipped, so the sword will need that. Make a variable called closed fist which controls if the fist is closed when this item is equipped. I will make a child class of this for the bow. For this I need to move the held pivot to the bow frame. You can adjust the swing and twist so different items wobble differently. Here is a quick example of the mace. Here is the pistol. I needed to move the held pivot for this one too to be on the gun handle. For the sword, I enabled flip on equipped. I did the rest of the child classes off camera. Now go to the character blueprint. Make a map variable of type item type and equipable struct. Use the placeholders to make the two default values be primary and secondary, since we can't add with duplicate keys. This is how you control what items the player has on begin play. Copy the other variables I make. Make an event called initialize equipables and copy the code. This spawns only if the item actor class is valid. Make a function called attach item unequipped. This simply attaches the weapon to the back or hip socket based on the selected enum values. Also, this enum to string only works if you use the same socket names that I did, so you will need to adjust it if you use different ones. Call the event on begin play. You can see the bow and pistol are attached now, and they also wobble as expected. If I change the hand to right, it goes to the right hip now. You can very easily change the item by changing the item actor class. Next, make a function called getEquipMontage. Copy the code shown. This just selects the montage to play based on the equip socket and hand. This is why I renamed the montages too, so it would be easier to set them up and just for good practices. Duplicate it for Unequip montages and change them to the corresponding Unequip montages. Now make a function called setEquipStatus and copy the shown code. This sets the map variable to the same but changes equip to true or false. This disables physics when equipped and sets the pivot correctly. This sets the hands to be closed. The next function will be called equipItem. This attaches the item to the hold sockets. Duplicate it for Unequip item and make the changes shown. Now make a macro called equipUnequip item. This is where the actual logic will be which uses the functions we made. Copy the code shown. This branch is for spam prevention. These two branches checks if the player tried to equip while already holding an item in the target hand. This unequips then equips the target item. We can now add the input. I will just use legacy input, but you should use enhanced input events for it. I will use tab for primary and call the equip unequip item macro with type primary. For secondary I will use the Q key. Now open the animation blueprint. You should use blueprint interface events here, but I will just hardcast to the character since the video will be too long. Copy the code shown. For the anim graph, copy the code. We will layer the animation on the upper body. This will play those animations on spine 01 and above. This plays the animation normally without layering if not moving. Copy this part at the end to close the fists. This opens or closes each hand separately based on the equip status. That is all. I will test now. Here is a bow and pistol working as expected. There is an error for guns. It is rotated incorrectly when equipped. To fix this, I will bake the correct rotation onto the mesh. Then I will adjust the holster sockets to be correct for the updates. Also, you can reset the play rate to 1 in the code and adjust the play rate of the montages individually for more control over them. Here I test the other options and items. Some extra suggestions you can make to add onto the system is different equip animations based on the equipped items. For example, equipping dual blades with one animation or drawing a sword from a sheath. Another is having different blend spaces based on the equipped weapon, which should not be too difficult to do and would just use a blend by enum based on the equipped weapon. That is all for this video. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for more content. You can purchase this final result from Patreon if you want, link is in the description. Thanks for watching.